Come in before I change my mind. Single dad rescue CEO who just humiliated him. Early Daniel Hayes had always kept his head down. A widowed single dad, he worked long shifts as a mechanic at a local garage and spent every spare moment with his 10-year-old daughter, Lily. Money was always tight, but he carried himself with quiet dignity. That morning, everything changed when a sleek black luxury car rolled into the garage. Out stepped Vivian Cross, the icy sharp-tongued CEO of a billion-dollar tech company. She looked out of place among the grease and concrete, and the way she looked at Daniel made him feel even smaller. "My car's making a noise," she said flatly, not bothering with greetings. "Fix it quickly. I'm late for a board meeting." Daniel inspected the engine, only to realize that the problem would take hours, not minutes. He explained gently, but Vivian scoffed. "Figures. Typical. People like you can't move fast enough. Don't waste my time." Her words stung, not because of her arrogance, but because Lily was sitting quietly in the corner, sketching in her notebook. She had heard it all. Daniel just clenched his jaw, finished the inspection, and let her storm off after arranging for a rental car hours later. As rain poured down and night fell, Daniel was driving home with Lily when he noticed a car stranded on the side of the road. Hazard lights blinking. Hood up. He slowed down, froze. It was her, Vivian Cross. She was pacing in heels, drenched, fumbling with her phone, no signal. Daniel could have driven past. After the way she spoke to him, no one would have blamed him. But that wasn't who he was. He pulled over, rolled down his window. "Need help?" Her pride flared instantly. I can handle it," she stammered, though she clearly couldn't. Lily leaned forward. "Daddy, she looks cold." Daniel sighed, grabbed his jacket, and got out. Within minutes, he diagnosed the problem. It would take time and tools he didn't have on hand. Vivian's shoulders slumped. She was stuck. "You and your daughter should just go," she muttered, her voice softer now. "I'll wait. Someone will come." Daniel shook his head. "Storm's coming harder. You'll freeze out here." He opened the truck door. "Come in before I change my mind." For the first time that day, she looked at him differently, not as a man beneath her, but as someone extending kindness when he had no reason to. Slowly, hesitantly, Vivian climbed into the warm truck beside Lily. During the ride, silence hung heavy until Lily spoke. "My mom used to say Dad always fixes everything. She'd be glad he stopped for you." Vivian's cold exterior cracked. She glanced at Daniel, realizing there was more strength in him than she'd ever given him credit for. Not wealth, not power, but decency. When he dropped her safely at her penthouse, she paused, shivering, still not from the rain, but from something else she wasn't used to. "Gratitude, Mr. Hayes," she said quietly. "I owe you an apology, and more than that, I misjudged you." Daniel gave a small shrug. People usually do. He turned to leave. "Wait," Vivian called after him, her voice trembling. "At least, come in for some coffee before I change my mind." And for the first time in years, Daniel allowed himself a smile. Daniel Hayes was used to swallowing his pride. Life as a widowed single dad meant he didn't have the luxury of storming back at rude customers or quitting when things got hard. He fixed cars, saved every penny for his daughter Lily's future, and kept his head down. That morning, the sharp sting of humiliation came at the hands of Vivian Cross. Vivian was the kind of woman who commanded attention the moment she stepped into a room, tall, poised, with expensive heels clicking against the concrete floor of the small-town garage. Her glossy black car had pulled up with a faint grinding noise under the hood, and she swept inside with the impatience of someone who believed the world should move at her pace. "You're the mechanic?" she asked Daniel, glancing at his grease-stained overalls as if they were offensive. "Yes, ma'am. Let's take a look." She didn't even nod, just crossed her arms, phone in hand, eyes darting over emails, while Daniel leaned into the hood. He took his time, careful with the inspection. Finally, he straightened. It's not a quick fix. The belt's worn down, and if I don't replace it properly, you'll be stranded. It'll take a few hours. Vivian snapped her head up. Hours? Do you have any idea who I am? I don't have hours to waste while you fiddle with tools. Can't you just patch it up? Daniel shook his head. If I do that, it might break. Down in the middle of the road. It's not safe. Her lips curled. Typical. People like you never understand urgency. I should have gone to a real service center. The words cut deep not because Daniel believed them, but because Lily was sitting on a stool nearby, sketching. She heard everything. Her little eyes flicked up at him with a sadness that made his chest tighten. He forced calm into his voice. I'll get it done as fast as I can. You'll have a rental ready in the meantime. Vivian snatched the keys from the receptionist and walked out without another glance. That evening, rain fell in sheets, blurring the windshield of Daniel's old pickup as he drove Lily home. She hummed softly in the seat beside him, holding her, drawing an outline of a car with the words, Dad fixes everything written under it. The headlights caught something up ahead, a car on the shoulder, hazard lights flashing. Daniel slowed. As the truck crept closer, recognition hit. The same black luxury car. And there she was, Vivian cross-pacing in the rain, hair plastered to her face, trying and failing to get a signal on her phone. He could have kept driving. The temptation was real. But Lily's voice piped up. Daddy, she looks really cold. Daniel sighed, pulling over. Stay here, Lil. Vivian spun at the sound of footsteps. Her eyes widened. When she saw him, Daniel adjusted his jacket. Car trouble again? Her pride flared instantly. I'll manage. I don't need your help. Sure, he said mildly, crouching to look under the hood anyway. Within seconds, he saw the problema blown belt. Exactly what he'd warned her about. He straightened. This isn't getting fixed here. You'll need a tow. She wrapped her arms around herself, shivering. Someone will come. Daniel glanced at the dark road. No cars in sight. The rain hammered harder. Not tonight, they won't. He gestured to the truck. Come in before I change my mind. Her lips parted in protest, but the cold was merciless. Finally, with a sharp exhale, she climbed into the passenger seat, rain dripping down her expensive blazer. Inside, Lily offered her a small, timid smile. Hi, Vivian blinked. Hello, you must be his daughter. Lily, she said proudly. The truck rumbled back onto the road. Silence filled the cab until Lily, with childlike bluntness, said, My mom used to say Dad always fixes everything. She would have liked that he stopped for you. Daniel shot her a warning glance in the mirror, but Vivian's expression softened in surprise. For the first time, she looked at him not as the grease monkey in a garage, but as a man carrying more weight than she'd realized. By the time they reached her penthouse building, Vivian hesitated before opening the door. Rain-slicked glass towered above them, but she lingered, staring at him. Mr. Hayes, she said slowly, I owe you an apology. I was rude earlier, more than rude. I misjudged you. Daniel gave a tired shrug. People usually do. He reached for the gear shift, ready to leave. But her hand touched his arm, tentative, vulnerable, in a way he never imagined from her. Wait, she said softly. Her voice wasn't commanding anymore. It was almost pleading. At least, come in for some coffee, before I change my mind. Daniel paused. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity. He gave a faint, reluctant smile, and for the first time in years, Vivian Cross let someone step past her walls.